Oh, let's see. What's up, gang? What's up, gang? What's up, gang? If you're new here, welcome. If not, you know what to do. Grab your chapstick, grab your water, and then come on back and grab your messages. I'm actually going to do this episode, I guess you could say, of the Spiritual Ghetto a little bit differently. If you don't know who I am, I'm your reader, Gregory the Guru, whatever you need for your spiritual whatever you may need for your spiritual needs and consultations. I've got the website running across the bottom of the screen. If you need something, see me there. The link will be in the description box to the link tree and other ways you can reach me if you are seeking something a little more personal or related to exactly what you've got going on at this time. Um, yeah, that was kind of a mess, but we're gonna do this one a little bit differently. These messages are kind of not kind of they're going to be based off an experience that I just recently had, and I keep seeing uh fragments, if you will, of that experience um being almost like being explained, almost like trying to explain it, trying to piece the pieces together for a lot of readers, especially here on YouTube. And not to say that I'm going to piece the pieces together for everybody because I'm not, but for those of you who are going through this situation, um, going through this situation, something similar to this situation, you've come out of this situation or you are in the middle of it, preparing to go through it, maybe I can assist you by shedding some assist you by giving you some clarity just by like sharing with you what happened in my own situation when it comes to these. So a lot of these titles that you're seeing now are kind of and if I seem nervous, it's because I really don't want to share this. Because I'm very private about my personal life, but in this particular regard, my personal life very much reflects what I do spiritually. So it therefore becomes an example that God or the divine or whomever you pray to wants me to use today. So as much as I'm like, I'm gonna get it out, but it may take a little minute. So bear with me. Um, so one of the titles, well, I titled this Five Omens of a Slime because we're gonna kind of like count down some things that happen in a particular person who was in my energy field or connected to me's life based on their actions. And if you don't know what I'm referencing, a lot of the readers on YouTube at this time are, I'm not going to say running, but they are reading or collecting or sitting all in this energy of like reading these karmic cycles and all of that kind of stuff. The karmic cycle, just a bunch of the karmic energy is alive in the readers. And this is not to say that they're bad for doing their jobs, not to say it's a gimmicky. It's not to, because some of us are in these stages, some of us are not in these stages. Whatever. It's not to say any of that. What it is to say is that a lot of these readers are reading on that energy. Um, and one, I don't want to read on the energy personally, but mostly because I've like recently lived the energy or come into some realizations of my own about that energy as well. So I kind of don't care for reading on it, which is probably why we're here today to tell you the story of how these karmic cycles or karmic bonds, how they've played out. Especially if a lot of you are keeping up with the readers who are talking about these karmic cults, family members, jobs, places, exes, and things of that nature. Which yes, they come up because just because you're ready to move on from a situation doesn't mean that somebody else is. Just because you've transformed, just because you've experienced growth and maturity doesn't mean that the other people have. And not all the times is somebody holding on to you in a romantic sense. A lot of times people are holding on to you in a sense of it gives them power, it gives them pleasure, it gives them some sense of control in their life that is not going well, right? So, for example, they're not, they don't necessarily like you, okay? They don't necessarily like you, but for you to be there and maybe you're going through a downswing right now, it feels good to have you there for them. Some people look at it like that. So you may be ready to walk away again in that process of ending cycles or ending situations or purging. Um, But it doesn't mean that because you are ready to release someone, you've done the work, you've matured, you understand what releasing them would be and what you gain by releasing them, right? What you lose and what you gain from that action. It doesn't mean that everybody's all lined up in alignment. Sometimes people are just like, no, I'm not happy, so you can't be happy. I'm not gonna release you and da da da, or I'm gonna do this to make your life a living hell. And these are the actions that people plague on, people do. They do this kind of shit every day. And these are what kind of builds these, I don't want to say builds these videos, but builds the spaces where these readers have to read on that energy. Whether it's you having a baby with a man because you want to trap him, or him putting a baby in you because he wants to trap you, or you holding on to a long-term best friend because you feel like it can't be them. As well as like, oh, it's mom, it's dad, it's sister, it's brother, like I'm supposed to vibe with these people, these are the tribe. Okay, niece, nephew, son, and daughter, let them go. All right. Let them go. um yeah, let them go. That's yeesh. But a lot of times these are the behaviors that kind of, it's just any of those behaviors, not even just those ones, just others in general that like lead up to us having to do this whole like this karmic reading or this karmic energy. But it's also like you wanting to change, you committing to that change is why a lot of that shit is happening, because you're committed to changing, you're committed to getting what it is that you want, what it is that you are trying to get. And you know that pisses people off, honestly, because how dare you change, how dare you become a new person, how dare you feel like you're doing better or you are better. And it's not even necessarily feeling like you're doing better, feeling like you are better. It is just that is somebody's interpretation, because you are doing better. You do feel better, but it's not to say that I feel better than the next bitch. It's just I feel better. I feel better about me. Like I've changed. Okay, like it's, and the best way I can explain it is like if you're one of the girls who experience anxiety and depression like on the yearly basis, not just in the fucking wintertime, but on like the mundane day-to-day basis, right? It's like going from one day of like, bitch, I stayed in bed for 2 3 days yesterday, and now I got up and washed my face and just put my hair in a ponytail today. I felt great. And the bitch being like, you're a loser, bitch. What are you mad at? What are you mad at? What are you mad at? The fuck is wrong with you? And then like the most respectful sense, but like again, this is that karmic energy that these readers are talking about at this time. So I thought I'd give you a little clarification on that. Um, as well as, you know, I know a lot of them are talking, oh, families, cults, ties, witches, covens, groups, and things like that. It's not to say that that shit is not happening. It's not to say that that is imaginary. It's not to say that they're making it up for clout. It's not to say that. It is to say that these are the way things come off in tarot, right? Um, your family may not come off as family in tarot. The family in tarot is supposed to be the Ten of Pentacles. Your family may not come off as the Ten of Pentacles. They may come off with, as in, I don't know, the Devil and the Three of Cups combination. That looks very much like a coven to me too. So I would say that. That's what I'm saying. Is these may be family members, you may have to apply it where it is, but if they're wishing on your downfall, they're not going to come up as like, oh, mom, dad, brother, sister, friend, lover. They're not gonna come up to that. They're gonna come up as they honest energy ops. Okay, let's start with that. Another thing on there is there's a lot of readers talking about death magic and stuff like that. I want to say stuff like that because it's just such a variety. It's death magic comes with a wide variety of things that it can touch. In particular, especially when 9 times out of 10 these girls are underprepared, underdeveloped, don't know what they're doing, and going to get help from somebody who lying to them. Okay, that's another thing for another day. But here we are today. Okay, so when it comes to death magic, it doesn't just have to be death of the physical vessel. It can be death of your dreams, death of your ambitions, death of your goals, the death of your health, death of your love life, death of your finances. These are all the things in which that category can tie to. It doesn't just mean in one kind of particular way, right? And For myself, I've been like on this like 7 year purge, right? I've been purging shit out of my life for like the last 7 years. A lot of people don't know that, but I've been purging shit out of my life for the last 7 years. And as you get closer to purging everything, everyone, and all thought processes in the mind, the body, the soul, the spirit, and all the things X, Y, and Z, right? When things are not happening for you, you start to narrow down the list, right? When you got a bunch of friends, you outside, you a big personality, you don't know who the op is. You can't see. You're blinded, right? But as God, the ancestors, whoever you pray to, the Holy Trinity, they, them, there, and how, right? As they start to sit that ass down, and you start to lose friends, lose lovers, lose family members, lose connections, lose jobs, lose things that just don't fucking fit. They're no longer a fit for you. They're no longer a match. They don't. A lot of y'all talk about energies. They don't match your energy anymore. Your energy's here, and you bitch you work at a job that the energy is here all day, every day, even when you've clocked out. Even on your lunch break, the energy level is here. Straight trash, dumpster juice, hot garbage. Anyways, um, carrying on, right? So these things have to go, and sometimes we take a minute to release these things. Jobs that we've committed ourselves to, overcommitted ourselves to, relationships that we've invested in, over invested in, emotionally invested in, financially invested in, mundanely invested in. There's kids, there's house, there's that, but you get the point. Family members that we've known forever, friends we've known forever. We overly invest in these spaces, and then we feel like we cannot leave these spaces, or we don't want to give up because we've invested so much. I'm sorry, there's like a dog hair on my lip, but it's fine. We're gonna keep going. We've invested so much, but we don't want to give up. Once you start narrowing that down, right? Because now you don't have all these distractions, all these friends, all these different jobs, all these different tasks, all these different people running in and out of your energy, in and out of your space, in and out of your face. You no longer have all of that, right? You start to really tighten up on that circle. Then you stop talking quite as much about your goals, your ambitions, your ventures, your values, the things that you really hold near and dear. Sorry, there's people outside the window talking. I'm trying to make sure it doesn't get picked up on the mic. Anyways, the things that you hold near and dear, like you stop sharing so much of that. You kind of go into recluse mode. And this is kind of like the sped up version, obviously, of the story here, because we're trying to get to the point. But you go in recluse mode, and you kind of like stop telling everybody, you stop talking to as many as people, right? So then when stuff, let's get specific, when your wishes, hopes, dreams, aspirations, manifestations, prayers, blessings, when they don't come into fruition, and you're like, what's blocking it? I move my blockages, and especially for the spiritual girlies, specifically for the spiritual girlies, when you've cut, cleansed, purified, blessed, protected, did all of your things, lit all of your candles, sprinkled all of your herbs, blew all of your powders, right? When you've done all of your things, and you know you are on that road, and that road should be blessed, and not should be. Let me be clear. Should be, because mundanely you're thinking, damn, it should be a blessing here, but spiritually, there's a blessing here. I don't know where she at, but she's here. We both be here. She's a little late. It's okay. Maybe I just didn't see her. Right? When that stuff kind of stuff starts happening, and you've done all the things to make sure it gets to you, and to make sure you get to it, right? Because faith without work is dead. When you've done all the things to do that, and then you start looking at your circle, you really have to start looking at people who would, and see the people for who they are. And this is one of the longer parts, while purging, cleansing, and leaving these cycles really takes a long time, really takes a lot of energy, really takes becoming anew again, because you are looking at people in a whole different light. Um, Especially when, for some of us, this will be part one, but as we get deeper into it, we'll discuss how people you've trusted can be doing magic or whatever spell work on you for years before you notice, especially because they are in that inner sanctuary of that inner trust, that inner space of trusting. So we're going to talk about I can't believe I'm telling this story, but we're gonna tell this story on how an opportunity was was averted for me. It was, I don't want to use the words missed because it wasn't missed. There was an technically it was an opportunity that was presented to me. Um, and I was kind of unaware. I was just moving through the space, right? I was kind of unaware. There was a connection that was supposed to be made. This connection would have resulted in, um, you know what? Let's keep it a stack because I'm a seer. Um, right? I was about 2 years ago. I was working at a job, and there was a connection that was supposed to be made. The connection was supposed to be made. There was a link that was supposed to happen, and it was supposed to result in a blessing, right? Somebody fumbled that blessing for me. Now, me, myself, and I, knowing that I was supposed to get that blessing, I was like, okay, whatever. I let it go at that time. Um, and then as time went on, time passed, different people started falling out of the picture. Other people that I still hadn't let go of yet, parents, siblings, whatever, right? And I'm still trying to solve this case of what happened to this blessing, even though I am in a space, I was in a space at the time of calling in a new blessing, right? And even to this day, kind of calling in that same thing. But this is where things get interesting, is because I'm not just okay. Here's how we here's let's get serious now. Okay, as a spiritual worker for a community, especially when you get down in the magical sense, there are things that you are supposed to do. There are things that you should do. There is protocol you should follow, even for yourself, right? Before you get to do any type of work, before you begin doing work, whether it's work for yourself, work for other people. Now, obviously, I know if I'm doing work for myself, what I'm calling in specifically, I've opened the roads, opened the way, cleansed the path, done the things, da 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 da. So it's a clear path to me, and it's a clear path to it. It's blessed, it's protected, it's done. The things are done, right? When those things get averted, when those things happen and you start having to reevaluate your inner circle, um, it's enlightening. It is painful. Let us first cover the basics. It's enlightening, but it's painful. It's very emotionally painful. Um, because the realization is that you've been wearing the rose-colored glasses no matter how psychic you are, no matter how good of a diviner you are, no matter how great of a medium you are, no matter how great of a witch you are, all around in totality, right? The people who have done this to you, let me start off with this, think that sometimes a lot of times people will think that they're smarter than you, and that's why they've slimed you, right? That's why they done got over on you. That's why they done this. That's why they've done what they've done. They think you're smart. They think they're smart, that you're not going to figure it out. I myself is I'm very studious, and I'm the investigative type. So let's get down to it. So the opportunity was averted, and I start looking at my inner sanctum, my inner rooms, my, like, who was close to me, who did I tell, who, what, when, where, and how. But I still wasn't getting it. I was only getting, um, I won't say fractions because I was getting different bits and pieces from as I was disassembling the situation. And as we'll talk about disassembly real quick, right? So disassembly looks like taking those family members, taking those friends, taking that workplace, and understanding that it is not of value to you, nor is it conducive for a positive environment, nor do they bring anything positive. So they do not add, they only come to subtract. In other words, they do not add, they only come to take away. Well, as you start seeing them as people who come to take away, or as enemies, or as opposition, because they don't have to be enemies, but they definitely are opposition, roadblocks, cones. Even if they're not an opposition, bitch is an orange cone and it has to move. Okay? I was seeing how other people were paying attention um to these blessings that I didn't really fuck with like that. Let's just be honest. I've got a sister and I've got sisters, I've got parents I don't really fuck with like that. And it's because I see and they don't know it, but I see, and that's a different episode because we're talking about a specific specific incident right now, or a specific set of things right now they want us to cover. But I, again, so they had their part they played in different things, because words mean things, and I always tell people that words mean things. When you are praying, when you are manifesting, when you're using these words, understand what the word means and what it is that you are trying to get to, because sometimes they're not in alignment. But um things are happening, right? And obviously I don't tell them any of my business anymore, right? We had stopped. This is, I think, maybe 2023, and stop talking to them, the families and things. Maybe 2023, yeah, mid 2023, something like that, mid to early 2023. Um, so then left a friend I've had since I was a child, right? And I have had a couple of projects in which I have started over the course of like the last 18 months. I have a podcast, Gregory the podcast. I have the Spiritual Ghetto, that I have gotten focused and serious on. And, you know, some of the things that I noticed is that things just simply wouldn't work. And that is so funny. So, like, you'll see the StreamYard logo if you're watching this, because I no longer pay for StreamYard. I used to pay for StreamYard, but StreamYard wasn't working. And I thought it was a problem, but I was like, I'm not gonna trip. Because it wasn't just StreamYard that I was having an issue with. I was having an issue with StreamYard. I was having an issue with my camera. I was having an issue with the camera software that comes with, or with the software that comes with the camera, so that I can stream or can record and stuff like that. I was having an issue with that, right? And then when I would get online to do the online readings, there would be uploading issues, or there would be cyberbullying. It's not just any kind of cyberbullying. It's the kind of cyberbullying that comes with the racism and obviously the you're fake and da 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 da. Right? And I know at the beginning of this, I talked about people talking about karmic cycles, death magic, covens, and things. Well, this is where we circle back to that. Because again, the only person I have in my circle at this time when all of this stuff is going on is a friend that I've known for X amount of years, right? And I'm like, obviously. And if you're an intuitive, a psychic, a seer, a bitch with some vision, you know, when you get that, okay, you know, you're like, hmm. You don't trust that. In the beginning, especially a lot of the newer, younger psychics, mediums, seers, and things, we don't trust it in the beginning. We be like, you said who are op? You said who's opposition? Come on now. The gift may not be gifting like that, but the truth of your reality is, bitch, your gift is gifting. You're just not listening. Okay, so shit's happening, right? I'm having little issues on little projects here and there, da 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 da. Simultaneously, you know, the only person I talk to every day is literally my best friend. She calls me, I call her, we chat it up, da 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 da. And I'm like, okay. Now this is where things get interesting, because as this episode is going to come out, it's only been a few weeks since I cut this particular friend off. And I want to say that this didn't end in me blowing up, going doing some sort of magical war, because I know that's where this is headed, and that's where a lot of people think this is going. That's not the tea here. Um, Simply because I don't have time nor the patience. I do have time and the patience, but like, I would be kind and respectful by calling them novices, because this is where we get into the thing where people don't know what they think they know. In the groups that they reside in, they frequent, the people that they lean on to help them pull these stunts off. Because, girl, I'm at you and your friends today. The bitches that helped you try to pull this stunt off, none of y'all understand the rules to the game. Let's talk about rule number one. You were only veiled by your connection to me. Let's talk about that. Some people are only hidden because you still consider them a friend, a sister, a mom, a dad, a brother, a cousin. They're only veiled because of that. I'm going to say that again. They're only veiled because you consider them a friend. Stop looking at them with those rose colored. Pull your frames off. Prophet Ludacris said at the end of Runaway Love, they're only veiled because of that. Now, I do understand when groups of inexperienced dum dums get together, they all think that they are the tea, the truth, and the dundada. And none of y'all do your research on what you should do, what you shouldn't do, who you should fuck with, who you shouldn't fuck with. Not to say that I'm one of those girls, but I am. Not to say that I'm one of the girls, but let's be clear. There are certain people that you cannot put your mouth on, put your little candles on, put your sprinkles on. You cannot do it. Why? Because you should have checked who they were. A lot of y'all live in a reality where this feels TikTok based, so you assume that you can get down in TikTok based magic. Some of us, my mentor is a traditionalist, a purist. I like to liken her to an elitist sometimes. Very pure in how things should go and should be ran. Right? Therefore, one, my protection set up at all times, which is why the girls weren't growing, because the only magic that was actually working was the magic that was being produced by the friend, and because she was in connection to me and still be considered a friend. The group of you were trying and were not successful. Let me tell you why. Because I'm a seer and they don't think I know this. But this is going to help somebody. The funny thing is, I gave the same friend this tip, but I'm going to give it to y'all as well. Don't be desperate. Number one. When you go to the crossroads, don't be desperate. When you go to the moon, don't be desperate. Divine first. Always. Never decide. Had you did, and if you guys do not know what the word divine means, it means do your divination. Whether that is with cards, pendulums, rooms, pennies, nickels, whatever you got, make it work for you. However, comma fucking but. Because I told same friend, hey, because she has another friend who is a spiritualist, calls herself a fucking doctor, Dr. Dum Dum. Okay, because let's talk about Dr. Dum Dum. I told you, dear friend, because I know you're going to listen to this, reciprocal. Yeah, because girl, I'm at your fucking head and your neck. you, your friend, Dr. Dum Dum, I told you, because I'm sure she is the one responsible for the group to watch my movements, right? Read the tarot cards, because she's supposed to be the gifted one over there. I told you baby couldn't see. Her gift of sight was likened to Ray Charles with Helen Keller as a fucking guide dog. Baby can't see from here to her palm. She can't see her eyelids close. Lesson for you all. Baby, I know y'all like to go back to the barter system, but the barter system was based on things having equal or greater value depending on the person. Y'all are pairing and paying your spiritualists, your workers, in Chinese food plates and her T-Mobile phone bill. You couldn't have possibly thought. Sorry, my dog is scratching himself, so if you hear the keys jangling in the back, he's fine. It's just his collar. You could not have possibly thought on this day, the next day, last week, or yesteryear, that shit was gonna take me up out of here. Baby, leave that dope alone. Mind you, that homegirl's always homeless, always couch surfing, always looking for a third party nigga to take care of her. Ain't never got it. Your other friends who I'm like, damn, why all my friends suffering? Because y'all hoes is out there under the moonlight, howling under the moon, looking a fool, looking a mess and a fool. Your other homegirl went down there, married a man she don't love, had a baby that ain't supposed to be here. And what did I tell you about that baby? Shorty's not supposed to be here. Now, if you're a real spiritualist, you know what that means. When people conjure these babies out of the ability to keep a man, when they conjure these babies out of the ability to sustain yourself, yikes. Yikes. That baby's not supposed to be here, and you will pay a karmic price for that. That's flat. That's flat. Like, it is what it is. You can ask who you want to ask. That baby ain't supposed to be here. You weren't supposed to do that. Hence why she suffered all the way through. Again, I'm not telling you all anything I haven't already told this friend while these things were happening currently. I'm sure she did not go back to her group of homegirls and be like, hey, remember that shit we was doing under the moon to my other friend, my bestie? Bitch, maybe we shouldn't have been doing it, but your ego's too big. Your ego's too big for your britches, baby. You got more head than you got body. And there's nothing in it but a shame. Now that we have gotten past the you were only veiled because you were connected to me. Had you told me, and of course she couldn't tell me what she had done because I, as the trained spiritualist who literally my ribbons or my sashes in the background from graduating the Conjure South Hoodoo Institute of Traditional African American Root Work Conjure and Divination. Sorry, I almost fucked up the title there. Because I was thinking about, girl, I did that. And y'all were out there just howling under the moon with a strange candle, hoping for the fucking best. Anyhow, right? Let's talk about the signs. See, these are all the signs that magic had been done and it was backfiring, right? And these are the signs that were presented to me as the spiritualist, because this friend was still in my inner circle, right? And I know y'all are thinking, what? These signs, of course, would be communicated to me. If you are the awakened one in the circle, if you are the one who with the gift of sight for your family, then you are going to get the signs when an elder or a family member is passing, or you are going to get the messages, the dreams of fish. You are going to get those things, right? No matter whether it's just for groups of friends, family, whatever, you're going to get those things. If you are the one in the space to get the message, the divine is going to get it. They say, girl, there's a channel in the room. There's a channel in the room and we're going to hit that channel. Okay. So, because I want to be clear, every event I got a call. Every event I got a call. So these are the 5 things of a slime. The first one should have been the one I really figured it out, but I didn't yet. And we will talk about that one. We'll talk about that one first because it's a reflection of the work you did in the past. And then we'll talk about the rest of them because they are reflections of work you did more recently and currently. So the work you did in the past was to have me miss an opportunity when I was working a certain job, right? And let me tell you how karma works, because yes, in certain spaces there is no karma. To get back is to get to get God is to get God. Okay? Eye for an eye, even spaces. However, you went and made me miss an opportunity and thought that opportunity, I don't know who or why, but you thought that opportunity would come to you, or that you would beat me to it or something, whatever your ego was telling you, right? So yeah, sure, I missed the opportunity, if you will. If you think that's what's happening, right? I missed the opportunity. Meanwhile, you get said date with like most perfect person you think, right? You're like, oh yeah, this is the person, this it. Shorty tell you get dressed, we went on a date, da da da. Shorty ain't even show up to the date. Had you sitting there waiting, looking stupid. You didn't realize that was karma? Didn't recognize her. I know. That was for the missed opportunity. However, let me be clear to the people in the room. I never missed an opportunity. I never missed an opportunity. the opportunity that people think I keep missing, it was an opportunity to see this friend for who they were. I want to reiterate that is the greater lesson here, not me shading anybody. But that is the greater lesson, is to see the friend for who they were. Now let's talk about the signs that I got phone calls for. Obviously, I got a phone call for the date getting set up because we were best friends, right? Or at least I thought. Bitch, I was a hoe in the streets of you, but whatever. First, let's start with the flies that were at my back door. And I was like, oh. And if you're a hoodoo girly, you know flies communicates an omen of death, right? So no sooner do later on, I seen those at like 8 that morning. I get a call maybe 11, 12, 12. It was closer to the afternoon, 12, 12, 1. I don't know. Something like that. Friend telling me Pola Casey, her dog, had up and dead. And you know, I sat there and let friend vent and talk about all the good times she had with her dog. Because again, didn't put two and two together. And I was just like, oh, Polo Casey, rest her soul, R.M.P. Sorry she had to go. Had nothing to do with me. Had nothing to do with me. Had nothing to do with me. You caught that. Baby caught that straight because you decided to play. Right? Baby caught that straight because you decided to play. But that wasn't enough for you. So you kept going, right? Because you were hoping that at some point I'd lose it. You were hoping at some point I'd lose it. And that's so interesting because the way I'm going to say this is going to sound very vindictive. But you hoping I lost my mind, or I would lose my mind so I wouldn't focus on the projects, the goals, the things that I'm doing. And then on a Wednesday, calling me at 11 a.m. and being like, hey, friend, I need you to find my grandma. I need you to ask the cards where my grandma at. And I said, huh? I need you to ask cards if my grandma missing, because that's how we talk to one another, right? So what do? Baby, I go get in the stool. What do you mean? As Lotto said, bitch, do you rap or do you tweet? Get in the booth. So baby, I wouldn't got in the stool. Let me a little incense, shuffle my cards, and we found grandma. Within an hour. Now, don't get me wrong. Me and this friend were so close that this was supposed to this story was supposed to come out and be presented as like a marketing thing for the spiritual ghetto because it is a true story. It did happen. However, didn't want to put this story out because then, you know, we weren't friends. However, me finding your grandma is the complete innocence of it. And I want you to know that's why you're still having bad luck. That's why shit is still happening to you. Because you did something to me. You and your homegirls. And then your grandma went missing. Not went missing. She actually walked out of a facility. She actually walked out of a facility and was walking down the road. And you asked me to help you find her. So what do? Get on here, help you find her. But you thought I was a hater? You thought I was your op or something? So confused. Then let's talk about more well-known signs in the spiritual community, like having dreams of your teeth falling out or having to get dental work done in the real life, in the mundane. Well, if you're a hoodoo girly, or any spiritual girly that I know really, teeth falling out in a dream is an omen of death. And actually, we're just going to pair these last two omens together. We'll talk about them separately. But teeth falling out in a dream is an omen of death, and so is hair. But let's start with the teeth. First off, you've had a slew of medical conditions, inconsistencies happening for like the last year and a half. You don't hear that? You ain't hear your body tell you, ho, the things you've lied about, even to your friend, Your body's literally talking to you in a Nicki Minaj tone and you are not listening. Right? So then you've got all this fucking, the teeth are falling out, the dental work is a thing, whatever, problems, right? And you call me about the teeth, and what did I tell you about the teeth when you called me? I said you should go get those checked. Also, when you mentioned the dream, I said, friend, that's not a good omen to have that in a dream. I don't know what you've been dreaming about or what you've been eating before bed, but that's not a good omen, friend. Tighten up. Clearly, you didn't fucking tighten up. You know why? Because you called me 3 weeks ago. Like, I've been thinking about cutting my locks off. Okay, why? Well, I had a dream. I had touched them and they fell out. I said, friend, that's not a good dream. That's an omen of death. And I said, I don't know what you're doing, but you need to stop. Did I not? I use that exact phrase, by the way, because let me tell you how tapped in I am, right? Because this is my best motherfucking friend that her ancestors was giving me the keys to an answer test that bitch you were failing, dummy. You were getting the keys to a test you were already failing to redeem yourself, and you still fucked it up. I literally told you, yeah, you might want to go and cut your hair and do a cleansing. I'll look into it and see if you need a road opening as well. But that's the omen of death, babe. We got to see what's in the way, what's moving, what's shaking, what's stopping it, what's this blockage. You got to stop what you're doing. Did I not? Did I not talk about that? I didn't tell you that on the phone? Huh? Huh? Right. So if you guys have not caught the omens yet, right? We've got the dog who died because people think return to sender always has to hit certain ways. Now, they hit where you care. Um, and no, I didn't have to do a return to sender. It's called protection. They hit where you care, right? Again, I got the signals before the dog died. Before you sent me the message that your dog was gone. Grandma lost her mind. Again, and also let's mention a part two because I just had this conversation with you as well. This podcast is more recent to a lot of this person's events, and I just want to make sure we are clear that I still did my job while this was going on. Okay, I told you it was probably about the same time we had the conversation about the locks, literally maybe days apart, that we are in a phase where the current matriarchs and patriarchs of our lineages are getting ready to transition, which means the next round of people have to ascend, have to take those positions. Why? Because the generation that is in between the grandparents who are still here and the parents, those parents are all getting skipped. There's a whole generation of parents that are getting skipped. They are not making it to matriarch status. They are not making it to patriarch status because they didn't do the fucking work. They cannot. They would literally ruin a family. They would literally destroy it. I told you they have the faith that you're supposed to put it back together, but the matriarchs are getting ready to transition, were my words to you. And I know when you first did the work, you didn't believe that I was the din da da. But now you know. Which means stop playing, get your life together. There's a host of things that is coming your way that is already tearing your ass up. You think y'all are having nightmares, indiscretions, mishaps, misconceptions. Y'all think y'all are having these things just because? No, you're having them because you all played in spaces that you were not supposed to. You went and thought you were talking to the goddamn moon. You got tricked by whatever fucking spirit was available. Stop being desperate when y'all go to these spaces to conjure. You do not have to be desperate. The problem is y'all be going to these spaces with fucking ill intentions. Going to these spaces thinking that if you slime somebody else out or if you take something from somebody else, take someone else's blessing, that you can fucking have it. How's that worked out? For anybody. Especially in your circle. And I wasn't going to do this because I didn't want the message being painted of, oh, he's an evil spiritualist doing dark work. It's not the case. It's not the case. The case is sometimes you can't do shit because you're not supposed to put your motherfucking hands, whether those be physical nor spiritual. Keep your motherfucking lips, toes, fingers, and earlobes off bitches. Some of y'all don't check who people are before you go running around your little candles with your little beanhead asses. Run around your little motherfucking candles, sprinkling your little goddamn herbs. Babe, I told you to tell your motherfucking friend before I knew she was the hoe who was supposed to be in charge of watching me that hoe needed to get in one of my classes. I don't even offer classes, but she need to get in one of my classes because that baby can't read. That baby can't read. That baby can't read. Friend, her gift of sight is Ray Charles being led by Helen Keller. She can't fucking read. How many times do I have to say that? This is the problem. A lot of y'all think y'all are out there with divine gifting and divine ability set up ready for you to scam. And the scam is, God already know you a scammer and you ain't shit. Fight your mama on it. Fight your daddy. Bitch, fight homelessness. See, people will do these kinds of things. They'll do these kinds of things, these stunts. They pull these kinds of stunts to hold you back, to stall you. And then when you're held back, when you're stalled, when you haven't progressed, when you haven't gone anywhere, and you're angry and you're bitter at the motherfucking world, what happened to you? You used to have so much promise. And again, in the words of the great, the great high priestess Nicholas, she know, Nicholas, oh, the candles you've been messing with. No, hold on. Oh, the spirits you've been praying to. No, seriously, cut it out. Cut it out at this point. I'm trying to help you. I'm still trying to help you, and I don't even like you because I can see you for who you are now. But I'm still trying to help you because I know your ego has you believing that y'all can pull this off. You can't. You can't. Because that's the humbling part about spirituality, is really having to check your ashe. Check your ashe. You, your homeless homegirl, the suffering baby mama next to you. You thought you were it and y'all thought y'all was going to celebrate on my misfortunes, but let me tell you, you nor them. Baby, y'all conjure is a card trick with a it's a card trick out of a hat with a fucking pocket at the bottom. Touch not my anointed ones. What y'all think that mean? What y'all think that mean next time? Because the girls are stupid. There will be a next time. Maybe you should divine on the people you're picking to do battle with, because some of you think he lost the battle, he lost the blessing, but I won the goddamn war, ho. And that's how you take them down. You see, a lot of times people think that this was a war over my blessing. No, this was a war to open my goddamn eyes and to see y'all for the people that y'all always have been. Haters, jealous, foul. Won the war. Was it painful? Yes. Did we have a mass casualties? Yes. 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 All those things. Yes. Now what? Now what? Hmm? The stagnancy, the homelessness, the feeling the sting of betrayal, the financial fuck up. How's that working for y'all? I'm sorry. All that was for me. My bad. Oops. 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 All right. Those were the 5 omens of a slime. That's what I'm calling this. We're going to release this on YouTube within a few minutes. I appreciate you all for being here. I appreciate you all for listening. I hope this helped somebody. I hope this touched somebody. I hope that this reaches whoever needed to hear it, whoever the divine wanted to hear it. I am grateful for being here, and thank you for allowing me to share my experience with y'all. It's all love in the hood. Peace.